Hello everyone, this is Kathy Jo from I'm a Little Teapot, and today I'm sharing a cute poinsettia card that uses the newly released Merry Christmas dies from Suzanne Cannon. She designed them for Elizabeth Craft Design, and the background was created using the poinsettia stamp from Quietfire Creations, another Suzanne Cannon design. So this is a sweet card. It's fun to make, and I think it's something too that it's so pretty and so elegant that it's classic beauty, I think. And yeah, so let's go ahead and dive right in. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask a question on the Quietfire Creations blog or also on my blog. Or you can just leave a question here on YouTube and I'll try to get back to you, okay? So let's start with step one. And what I did when I first created this card was I stamped the poinsettia stamp onto watercolor paper. I did that using Versamark watermark stamp pad. And then I also used gold embossing powder. I have several different types of embossing powder. I use the Recollections, but there's some really great choices out there. So first, let's go ahead and apply the Versamark. Now I'll show this step on this paper, and then I'll show you what the background looks like when it's done. So just kind of rock that on there. So I've recently reorganized my craft space, and I can't find my usual embossing tools, so I'm just going to quickly do this here. See how this works out. This is the heated tool from I think it's Ranger Ink, maybe? Yeah. It's not as it's not as hot as the standard heat tool, so it takes a lot longer. Yeah, that's my thought. So let's just skip waiting several minutes for that to emboss. I had one already embossed on a sheet of paper, so just assume that we just heat emboss that one poinsettia. And let's just dive right into the watercolor. So watercoloring is, you can use different techniques. What I did with mine is, it was a simple watercolor, I think. I used two of the Spectrum Noir Aqua markers. One is crimson and one is aquamarine. And yeah, so those are the results there with the two colors. So I take the brush side there. I just put it on a clear, clean block. And I have a water brush, but if you don't have one, you could use a just a brush with some water. And you start from the inside. You can really see the crimson pop against the gold. It's quite lovely. And it doesn't have to be perfect when you first go in it. I try to stay inside the lines, but sometimes I don't. Because I know too that I'm going to go up in the middle there. Just kind of spread that out. The brush is a little dry. There we go. So depending on how much of the aqua marker you have on your brush, you can see the difference there, from dark to medium to a very light. I really like how easy this is to use. So after it dries, I won't do the whole thing even though it's very close. After it dries, I just kind of go over like some of the lighter areas that I might have wanted a little more depth to add just a little bit more to the center of each one. Now on the outside, when I was done doing all of the poinsettias, next I wiped off my plate here, my stamping block, and I applied the aquamarine on there, and I did the background. So yeah, this one I put a little bit more blue on this background, but what you can do is you can just do, just light blue, or just put the aquamarine just around, just on the outside, and have it lightly fade to the just the background of the paper. So this is what I did. I had stamped it on a smaller piece first and practiced on it just to make sure that I knew exactly how I wanted to do the poinsettias. And then I cut a background, and this is 5 by 5. And just like what I did with my practice sheet, I stamped all of them on, and then I heat embossed them in gold. And then I applied the I applied the aqua markers to the poinsettias and to the background. So now this guy's done. I really like the results of that. Again, you can see the shimmer, it's just so pretty. And so next what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have a beautiful sentiment on the front. And this is when I use the Merry Christmas die set from Elizabeth Craft. And I die cut it in white and in gold, and then I just offset it using liquid adhesive. I use the Scotch here, and then I have a fine tip applied to the end of it, so this way I can really get in and apply the liquid adhesive to my 2 die cuts. And I wanted it to be mounted onto vellum paper, and of course many of you know how difficult it is to use vellum paper sometimes, because if you use any kind of tape behind it, you see the tape right through the vellum. So to prevent that from happening, I just used the areas behind my Merry Christmas as the base for my liquid adhesive onto the back, and then I also used my gems. So I'll show you here. These nibs are great. I'm so happy one of my friends told me about this. It really is very helpful when getting into those fine details. I could have just used some of the double-sided adhesive tape. You can buy big sheets of it from Elizabeth Craft Design, and I could have just put a sheet onto white and then onto gold cardstock, but I didn't think it was necessary for such a small piece. Then you center it onto your vellum. And this vellum I cut to, I think it was 2 by 3. Just kind of center that on there. What I like to do is push down on the back. Make sure it's all even, because if you do it on the front, then your glue, you'll touch your glue on the front if you have any kind of dirt or gold embossing powder or whatever on your fingers. It's going to show up on the glue right there. Or in my case, I have cat and dog fur that might be stuck to my fingers, so I make sure they always go from the back. And so next I apply the liquid adhesive to the back of this. Oops, I'm not underneath the camera, sorry about that. So this is a good way to get adhesion for your vellum paper. It's right in the center too, so that's pretty nice. Oops, I missed. I'm trying to go in a hurry here. I'm missing that. And then I also put 4 dots. Oops, again in a hurry. I put 4 dots there for mounting this, and on the other side of those dots is what I'm going to put my gems on. So center that onto, I put it on blue paper that matched the aqua marine of the background. So you can see my dots are kind of big in the corner. So you have to use a little bit bigger dots for this, and I think that light pink looks good. So with this, your little glue dots stay hidden behind the pretty pearls. Okay, and make sure you put your glue tip on if you're not going to use it, because I find that it does dry quick on that tip there. Okay, so now I'm going to put that on the center of my card, but I think what I'll do is I'll mat my card first, just to make this nice and flat onto my card base. So I had several layers here. I have white, and then gold, and then the watercolor background. And a little trick to make sure that, gold embossing powder in there, a little trick to make sure that that you are center, or however you want it, just to make sure that you are putting your mat onto your paper in the position that you want. Just kind of pull up your 4 spots, kind of center it on your card, see where you want it at. Around there. And then you press it down, and if that's where you want it, then you just pull your tape up, finish with your press. This way, if it's not exactly where you want it, then you don't already have it completely adhered to your card base. And it's also good too to have your tape go as close to the edge as possible. This way your mats don't curl or lift from the edges. And having them go all the way to the edges is really good with the watercolor paper too, because it's just naturally going to buckle or curl on you. So it's nice to have it, oh no, I just pulled it off. So it's nice to have it go as close to the edge as possible. Okay, so I think I want it like this. There we go. Isn't that pretty? It's very happy. And now we are putting the Merry Christmas on. What I did for mine, I put a double-sided adhesive foam tape on it. And I buy my foam tape at the local dollar store, and I find that sometimes it, you know, might lift off my card or my scrapbook page or whatever project I'm working on, so I always add a little bit of glue there. Center that on. Oh yeah, I might go down here. It's pretty. And last but not least, you don't have to do this step, but it adds just a little more detail. On the background of the card, I applied the Nouveau crystal drops. I use the white, and I just randomly, kind of quickly drop those on. Adds a little bit of fun and happy to the around the poinsettias. I didn't put any on the poinsettias. I just wanted to add some random dots to the background. And then the final step was I added the Nouveau crystal drops in gold to the center of the poinsettias. And I don't have to do it there because I covered it up. Isn't it pretty? I just love the background. Happy colors. Love the gold. And the thing is, once you make one, you're going to get addicted to it, and you're going to make several of them. So I hope you liked the little tutorial here, and feel free, like I said, to ask any questions on my blog spot, daisiesanddaffodils.com. That's daisies with a YS. You can hop over to Quietfire Creations to leave a comment there and see all the other beautiful work by the design team. Or feel free to leave a question on this YouTube video and I'll get back to you. Thank you for stopping by and have a happy crafty day. Bye.